Hello there, and you're very welcome to another episode of the Arkham Avengers Fantasy Football Premier League podcast. You join me, the host, along with Eamon and Hector. And we're taking a look to see what a manager needs to do when they're putting a team together. We're talking about things to look out for, transfers, leagues, and much more. We hope you should stay tuned. Gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 6, Season 2. We're not doing too bad, are we?
No, we're not doing too bad at all. I think this is starting to gather momentum. I think our listeners are enjoying listening to what we have to say about the football. I think that when you're getting out there and reaching to the listeners, wherever they are, I think, we are giving bang for buck, as I would always say.
That's true. Hector, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back here again. I'm really looking forward to the show this week. I think we have the big guest here on the show.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have Mick. Mick is joining us here shortly. And I'm excited myself to hear what he's going to say, what words of wisdom he might have for any manager out there, our listeners. Even ourselves, we might learn one or two things.
I'm not too sure about that, but look, he's here and there's not much I can do about that.
Okay. Now, I suppose, look, first things first, a reminder to our listeners, we do have an email address, and it's Arkham Avengers FFPL@gmail.com. And if any of our listeners want to give an email, send in a query, or maybe they have a comment about the show or one of the panel here, feel free. The lads will get back to you. There's no worry about that. So that's number one. I suppose item number 2 I'm going to just say is that the league code for the Arkham Avengers Fantasy Football League itself will be coming out. I think it might be out next week. There'll definitely be in the podcast notes. So listeners, keep an eye out for that there. And the lads are working on a Facebook page. I know we want to get a photograph of the trophy and the medals. That should be coming out here shortly, so it will be on there. Now, just one thing. If a manager is joining or wants to join the league, they wouldn't mind dropping us an email with maybe their details, so that we know who they are in the event that they might win the trophy, or they might come second or third and win a medal. And we just want details of where we would send them. That's something to remember there, okay? Now, lads, what are we talking about this week?
Well, look, we've covered the basics of getting a team together. And at this point, our managers should have a good idea about what it is that they are going to do and achieve. Selecting their players and the formation.
What's next?
Well, I suppose really then, once you have a team together, once you've registered, and during your registration process, you're going to be asked who your favourite team is. And this is from the Premier League. Now, you mightn't have a favourite team. And if you don't, that's quite all right. If you do, you can say, look, I like Aston Villa, or I might like Wolves, or I might like Leeds, I might like Liverpool, whoever that is there. And if you select that, well, you're going to be automatically entered into a league for that particular team. And of course, when you're registering, you're going to say what country you're from. And you're also going to automatically be put into a league for players and managers who are from that country. So say you're from Germany, and you're in a league for Germany. If you're in Ireland, you're in a league for that. England, a league for that. I'm sure if you're in a league from Japan, if you're from Japan, you're in the league for Japan. And, regardless, once you've registered your team, you're in the league for the game weeks and the overall league.
All right, okay. So that's the leagues there. Is there anything else we need to think about when you talk about the leagues?
Well, look, there's invitational head-to-head leagues, and you have a public classic league and you have a public head-to-head league. Now, can I just say, managers don't have to go into these. You don't need to go into those. If you're joining up or signing up, you're going to be in the overall league. You'll be in your game week league every week. You'll be in your country league. And if you selected a football team, you're in that. If you decide you want to join a private league, such as the Arkham Avengers, you're going to pick up the code and then you're going to put that in there. So that would be your league. So you may not want to get bogged down on that there. However, if you were interested in that, really what you want to do is, you have a look at your invitational head-to-head leagues. You click on create and join a new league. But then you have an option to create or join leagues or cups. Now, if you're looking to join an existing league or cup, you need the code to join that league. Also, the administrator would give you a code and you could join that. You could do that. Sometimes people will just Google definite leagues. There'll be stuff on, social media. And you can join. There's any amount of them. There's loads of them out there. And some of them are open. They'll allow anybody to join them there, for the fun and a bit of crackers, Okay. And if you don't have the code from somebody, what happened then? Well, you can't join that league. What you'll be doing then is you're going to opt for the selection, join a public league, and you're going to compete against 20 randomly assigned managers. And you can join 5 of those public leagues. Okay, interesting. So that's the leagues there. Would you say about getting bogged down in the leagues, Eamon? No, I wouldn't. I don't put a little stock in them. I think you should be looking at joining 1 or 2, maybe private leagues, and you're in the overall leagues. If you're a new manager, I think perhaps maybe you want to get a feel for what's going on. Your second season, yes, I would be saying get into the leagues and get working on that. Okay, very interesting. Now, Hector, what else are we looking at here? We have the team. Eamon has told us we've got ourselves into the league. What are we going to do next?
Well, I think, you have to... I think maybe we look at the dashboard, when you log in. Say if you log in on your computer, you're going to see... First of all, when you log in, you're going to see the team that you have selected.
This is after you've registered and selected a team, is it?
Yeah, you have picked the team.
Okay.
And at the top, it will tell you what game week it is and when it kicks off. So say for game week 1 this season, it's going to kick off on Friday, the 13th of August, and that will be at 6:30.
Okay, on a Friday. Do our matches normally kick off on Fridays?
Our matches can kick off on Fridays, Saturday, Sundays. There will be matches. Also matches during the week. So sometimes you might find a match on Monday, Tuesday. Generally, the game weeks kick off on Friday or Saturday.
Okay, carry on.
So, you can look at your team. You see if any player have injury or maybe he have a suspension. I would always give this piece of advice that it's always good to look at your team before the game week starts. So then if you have to make a change, you can do it before the game week starts.
Okay. So you'd make a change. So you've gone in and you see a striker is injured or something's happened to him.
He could have got injured training. He could have been playing international. You don't know what happened. He could have his toe off a chair in work or at home.
Okay, right. And you have a look before the game week starts.
Yeah, you have a look before game week start. They give you opportunity to transfer him out if needs be. It also gives you a chance to see if you need to change your captain or maybe your vice captain.
Why would you want to do that, can I ask?
Again, you might have a guy injured or suspended. Or maybe you think the guy you select as captain, he not doing what you want. And in this case, you then say, yeah, I want to change you.
Okay, and how do you do that?
You just click select the player and you choose either make captain or make vice captain.
Okay, it's as easy as that. So you just click on the player and you say, you're my captain or you're my vice captain.
That's it, yes, very easy. There you also find, when you're looking at the team in the dashboard, the team is in front of you, there is an I, the letter I beside them. And if you click on that, that will give you information about the player. So you can see, he playing matches, he getting points, he a good player, he a bad player, is he a middle player, maybe he had to go, maybe you want to say, hey, you go on a bench this week, maybe his team no play.
All right, that's very interesting. Is there anything else then when you're looking at this dashboard?
Well, you've got home, that'll bring you back to the home page, you can pick your team. As I said, allows you to change your formation. You can have extra defender, like a midfielder, maybe forward, take a player off, put a player on. Select captain, vice captain. You could do transfers. That's the next thing, allow you to transfer. And remember that every game week, you have free transfer. If you don't have free transfer, it may cost you the 4 points, unless you want to use wild card or free hit.
Okay. Anything else?
The dashboard menu show you the leagues and cups that you're competing in.
And now there's also the fixtures, and the fixtures are very good. You can look at the fixtures, see any upcoming, see if there are any double weeks. The double weeks? Yeah, the double weeks, where perhaps maybe a team is playing twice. Oh, no, we had one or two that were playing 3 times last season, but I doubt that will happen again. They are trying to catch up there.
Yeah, they were trying to make up for delays in getting matches scheduled, and some had to be cancelled. So we had some teams that were playing 3 times.
Okay.
It's probably also worth noting that at the moment, because we're in the run-up to Gameweek 1, the deadline for it to start, that if you're a manager and you have your team in there, you can make unlimited free transfers. So you can change your team around as much as you want at this moment. And you're not going to incur any loss of points.
No, that'll be handy, wouldn't it?
Okay.
And when you're talking about the transfers there, what are the things that we should be looking out for? What is your manager sitting at home now? He's having, or she's having, a cup of tea or a cappuccino or whatever it is, maybe a glass of water. And they're listening to you guys and they're saying, these lads are talking about transfers. What am I looking at here when I want to transfer somebody? Do I just say, I'll have him? Or what are you looking for there?
Well, okay. In my view, the things that you're looking for here, when you're going to transfer a player in, you're looking for somebody who's going to improve your team for a start.
Well, I thought that would be a given, Eamon. You're hardly going to bring in somebody who's worse than what you have.
No, but what I mean is, you might have a guy who is playing, okay, he might not be lighting the sky up, but he might be doing a bit, and you might think, look, I need an edge. So you're going to look at the transfer list, and when you're transferring him, you'll see all the players that come up. You can select goalkeepers, you can select players from teams, but you're looking for somebody who's going to give you, and you want somebody who's going to add to your team, not take away.
Eamon's right, yeah. You have to think about who you're bringing in.
Thank you, Hector. And I think the important things to look at here is, number one, what are the total points at the moment? Is the guy you're looking at potentially bringing in, has he got as much points as the guy you're moving out? If he hasn't, then why would you bring in some guy?
He could be injured, couldn't he?
Well, yeah, there is that. But if he's not injured, all injuries aside, if he's playing, he's not suspended, he's not injured, why would you bring in a guy who has less points?
Why would you?
You wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You also have to maybe consider how many actual football teams, and this is the managers, the percentage of teams that the players you're looking at, you're going to select one of them or whatever, how many transfers you have to come in, how many teams has that guy been selected for? Maybe you want to have a look and see, has this player scored any goals? That could be important.
Right, okay.
I also think the form needs to be considered here. How they're performing. Is their form going up? You don't want to pick a guy who maybe has scored a couple of goals. He looks like he's doing great, but his form is not hitting the mark. And I think probably the other thing you need to consider is, are they assisting? They have the assists. Because remember, assists get you points.
Well, that's all very interesting. Have we touched on everything now that we need when putting a team together?
Yes, I think we pretty much have. We've provided information for our goalkeepers, how to get into this thing in the first place, where to go, and also probably, what we need to look at as your defenders, your midfielders, and your forwards. We probably might have a look at, keep a little eye on what teams are bringing in what players, because there's a transfer market out there at the moment. The players are going to be moving around, and there'll be a little bit more of this now that the European Championships are coming to a close.
Hector, anything else?
No, nothing much at the moment here. I wait for our guest.
All right, okay. Right, okay. Listeners, we are privileged to have with us a man who esteems the pedestal of football. He's steeped in the history of it. He's been a player, manager. He is knowledgeable, gifted. There's not much more we can really say about this guy.
I'm not quite sure about that. I'm sure I could say a few things.
Listeners, let us introduce you to Mick. Mick, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
All right, it's nice to be here, so it is. Thanks for having me back on the show, lads.
It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. You already know Hector and Eamon.
All right, lads. Housekeeping.
Very well, Mick. Very nice to see you on the show here. To hear you again. We a long time.
Yes, how very nice to see you again, Captain Fantastical Mick.
All right, Eamon.
Mick, for our listeners out there who might be putting a team together or considering a team together, you with your knowledge, what do you think they should be considering when they're putting a team together?
Well, I think when you're putting a team together, it's very important, so it is, that your team has got to be as effective as it can. It can't be a mediocre team. You've got to pick your best team. You've got to have somebody up front who's going to get you a couple of goals, decent midfield. Try to have a defender or two who's pretty good, and a good goalkeeper. I always find a good goalkeeper goes well.
And you know, when you say like you want to get a good player, would you have any players now that you'd be saying, I like to look at him?
Well, I'd probably be saying, you know, who was good playing last year? And then I'd probably have to think about what is new guys that have come in. You only have 100 million. It's not going to go far.
Not go very far. I see price of players have gone mad.
He is right. Hector, you're right there. You've actually touched on something. I mean, the like of Harry Kane has gone up big time. I think what did we say? He's 12.5 million. I mean, you couldn't buy him and have a scatter of heavy hitters in the midfield, could you? Could you, Mick?
I don't think you could have, no. It depends on what you want to do. I think that sometimes you pick one or two good players, fill out the rest of it then with guys that you think are going to achieve.
But I'm going to ask this now to you, Mick. How do you know the guy you're selecting is going to achieve?
Oh, you don't, man. You're going to have a look and see, you know, has he played last season? And if he has, what's he done? Maybe he's coming up for a team that's been promoted. So, you know, you're going to have a look. Hedge your bets. Think, well, look, he played good there. That was the championship, of course. When you're in the premiership, it's a different kettle of fish there altogether, so it is.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You're saying that you're talking about a guy, you know, have a look at him, and yeah, he might be doing good. He might be a complete failure.
I think it's a bit harsh, man. You know, these are footballers, they're human beings. Sometimes, you know, the psychological effects might get a player. Wouldn't still come a failure, though.
But can I just say here, Mick, you know, when you're going to pick the team, the lads here were talking about total points, percentage of teams that have a player, assist goals. Are they the sort of things that you would be looking for?
Yeah, well, I'd consider those, but I'd also think that you need a mix. You know, you need a good mix. You need players from teams that are going to be in the top 6 or top 8. So you're going to have somebody maybe from Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, Leicester. Some of them sort of guys there. Maybe even Leeds as well, you know. And then you're going to have to maybe populate the rest of your team with players from teams that are maybe down mid-table there. You might have to select a guy from, you know, maybe down the bottom relegation.
Okay. All right, that's very interesting, so it is. And when you talk about the managers, I mean, if you're a new manager going to join this season, it's a big ask, isn't it, to set the team up, because you're really competing against some guys who might be well seasoned.
Well, that's right. You know, I think last year, if I recall correctly, when you look at Arkham Avengers last season, and you got, I think it was Mihal's target tokens down the bottom. He wasn't going to win anything, but he kept going. And I think that's the important thing. You have to keep going. If you don't go, if you're not going to keep that team evolving, you might as well just throw the towel in.
And would there be, you know, any other things a manager should do?
Well, I think you have to commit and be there to make a change, do a transfer. You have to also, you know, do the best you can. I mean, everybody's not going to win, but you have to do the best. And in my view, once you do your best, nobody's going to say anything to you. They can't say nothing to you because you said, I've done my best.
I think he speak great word. This is Mickey. Mick speak great word, you know. He speak truth and stuff.
Thanks very much, Hector. Hector, when do you play football again?
I do trial for Boca Juniors years ago. And then I play local leagues in South America, and I went to Portugal for local local league games.
All right.
Okay. Mick, do you have anything else that you would want to advise a manager?
Well, I think steady yourself. Don't get rushed. Don't get pushed. If you have a team together and you have a bad week, don't worry about it. Everybody has a bad week. This 38 game weeks. Everybody's gonna have a bad week at some point. You have to be patient and pace yourself. That's what I always say. Pace yourself.
All right. Well, thank you. Mick, we're not going to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy man, but thank you very much for joining us. Lads, I have to say, he has spoken a lot of words there, hasn't he? Wisdom?
Yes, okay, yeah. I'd like to see him talking wisdom with John, because John the sage would have something else to say.
Yeah, well, Eamon, John's not here, is he? But when you see John, you tell him I'll have a Bacardi and Coke with him.
Great.
Yeah, Mick, I say you was brilliant. I could listen to you all day long.
Thanks very much, Hector.
All right, Mick, thanks very much for joining us there. Will you come back at some point, Mick, to join us?
Yeah, I'll be back again. Yeah, I'll come back. All right.
Okay, thank you. Well, lads, what do you think of that?
Look, I mean, we've been talking about a lot of this stuff that Mick was talking. I mean, that guy's just Captain Fantastical, Mick, and pick a guy and he might do well for you. I mean, if you're a manager, you want guys in there that are going to do well. You don't want to be listening to this sort of nonsensical stuff. You might as well just auto-select the team and leave it there. I mean, come on, you've got to have some dedication to this thing. You've got to put a little legwork in at the start. And I think that, yes, you only have 100 million, but you can do a lot of good with that 100 million. And, I don't think I need to say anything further about this.
Hector, anything?
I think what Mick say, he have talked brilliantly, He say he hit it on the nail there, It was great. I lost for words. I not often I lost for words. I always someone to say about something, but now he's one day
Okay. Right, lads. I think we'll start to wrap it up. Thank you again for joining us. You'll be back next week, lads.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, I think I'll be back, yes. I going to west of Ireland for a few days holidays, but I should be back.
All right. You want anywhere nice?
Just on west of Ireland, see who I bump into. Might bump into people in Swinford, don't know. Maybe down in Ballycastle, or I think I go to, what's that place? Knock. You say prayer or two there, or prayer.
All right, okay, thank you. Right, I think we'll move on from that there now. Okay, and listeners, thank you once again for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show and that you've come away with some information, some knowledge that's going to help you if you're putting a team together. If you're not putting a team together, I still hope that you enjoyed the show. Be sure to listen to us anywhere, anytime that your friends know. And until next week, stay safe and stay well.